Welcome to Understand the Math. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to solve quadratic equations using the square root property. The first type of equations that we'll look at have an x squared on the left-hand side, and the second type that we're going to look at have an ax plus or minus b squared on the left-hand side. I'll walk through lots of examples and show you how to solve them step by step. Let's get started. We'll first look at equations that are written in the form a times x squared is equal to c. Here's what we're going to do. We first have to get x squared by itself, and then we're going to take the square root of both sides. When we take the square root of both sides, we have to remember not to forget the plus minus sign. I'll show you exactly how this works. Let's look at our first example. I'm going to begin by writing down our problem. We have 5x squared is equal to 20. We want to get the x squared by itself, so what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 5. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. And this gives us x squared is equal to 4. Now we're going to take the square root of both sides. On the left, we're going to get x, and then on the right, we're going to get plus or minus 2, because the square root is always plus or minus. And that's the solution to this problem. Let's now look at the one on the right. You might want to pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. I'll begin by writing down our problem. We have 4x squared is equal to 64. To get the x squared by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 4. This gives us x squared is equal to 4 goes into 64 16 times. Now we're going to take the square root of both sides. And we get x is equal to plus or minus 4. Let's now look at example 3. In this example, our equation is a little bit different because we have a constant on the left-hand side along with our x squared term. We'll begin by writing down our problem. We have 3x squared minus 10 is equal to 17. To get the x squared by itself, we first need to move the constant to the right-hand side. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides of our equation. And we get 3x squared is equal to 27. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3. And we get x squared is equal to 9. And then the next step is to take the square root of both sides. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of this. On the left, we're going to get x. And then on the right, we get plus or minus 3. And that's our answer. I included one more example just so that you could pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. I bet you can. I'm going to write down our problem. We have 2x squared plus 8 is equal to 40. And then we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. And we get 2x squared is equal to 32. Now we're going to divide both sides by 2 so that we can get x squared by itself. And this gives us x squared is equal to 16. Now we'll take the square root of both sides. And we're running out of room, so we'll have to go over here to the right. On the left, we're going to get x, and then the square root of 16 is plus or minus 4. And that's our answer. Now let's look at some examples that are written in a different form. The examples that we're going to look at now are written in the form ax plus or minus b quantity squared is equal to c. This is called a perfect square trinomial. Here's how we're going to solve this. We're going to put the equation in this form if it's not already in that form. And then, just like we did with the other examples, we're going to take the square root. And we're also not going to forget the plus minus sign. Let's look at our first example. We'll write down the problem that we're going to solve. It's 3 times x minus 2 quantity squared is equal to 75. We want to get the x term by itself, so we're going to divide by the constant. We'll divide both sides by 3. And then we get x minus 2 squared is equal to 75 divided by 3, which is 25. Now we have a squared term on the left and a squared term on the right. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. On the left, we just get x minus 2, and then on the right, we're taking the square root, so we do the plus minus, and we get plus or minus 5. For this problem, we are going to get 2 different solutions, so let's work at them one at a time. I'm first going to write down x minus 2 is equal to 5, so that will be one solution, or we'll have another solution, x minus 2 is equal to minus 5. Let's first solve the problem on the left. We need to get x by itself, so we're going to add 2 to both sides, and we end up with x is equal to 7. Now let's look at our equation on the right. We're again going to add 2 to both sides, and this gives us x is equal to minus 3. And let's put an or here. Our solutions then are x is equal to 7 or x is equal to minus 3. Let's now look at our second example. You may want to pause the video and work this one on your own. We're going to be solving 2x minus 5 quantity squared is equal to 121. We have a squared term on the left, so we're going to go ahead and take the square root. There's no constant this time to have to divide by. Let's take the square root of both sides. On the left, we get a 2x minus 5. And then on the right, we're going to get plus or minus the square root of 121, which is 11. Let's go ahead and let's write down our 2 equations. Our first equation is 2x minus 5 is equal to 11, or we have 2x minus 5 is equal to minus 11. Now let's go ahead and look at the one on the left. We'll solve for x, so let's add 5 to both sides. That gives us 2x is equal to 16, and then we divide each side by 2, and we get x is equal to 8. Now let's go to the one on the right. Again, we're going to add 5 to both sides, and we get 2x is equal to minus 11 plus 5. That's equal to minus 6. Now let's go ahead and let's divide by 2, and we get x is equal to minus 3. And we'll put an or here. The reason that we have an or is that x is equal to 8 can be a solution, or x is equal to minus 3 can be a solution. Let's now look at 2 more examples that are a little bit more complicated. Our third example also has a perfect square trinomial on the left-hand side, but it's not written as a perfect square. So that's what we're going to have to do first. Let's write down our problem. We have x squared plus 10x plus 25 is equal to 36. Now what we have to do is recognize that our expression on the left can be written as a perfect square. Notice that our x is quantity x squared. That one's kind of obvious. And then notice that our 25 is 5 squared. And then we have to notice that our middle term is going to be 2 times x times our constant that's squared on the right. And whenever that happens, that means we can write it as a perfect square. Let's go ahead and let's do that. We're going to write it as x plus 5 quantity squared. I have a video on perfect squares if you need to review that concept. And then on the right, we have 36. Now we're all set up to take the square root of both sides. I'm going to take the square root of x plus 5 quantity squared on the left, and we'll take the square root of 36 on the right. On the left, we're going to get x plus 5, and then on the right, we're going to get plus or minus 6. Again, we have 2 problems. Our first problem is x plus 5 is equal to 6, or we have x plus 5 is equal to minus 6. Let's do the one on the left first. We'll subtract 5 from both sides, and that gives us x is equal to 1. Now let's look at our 1 on the right. We'll again subtract 5 from both sides, and we have x is equal to minus 11. We'll put a little or there, and our solutions then are x is equal to 1 or x is equal to minus 11. Hang with me, we have one more example, and after we do this example, I'm going to show you a common mistake that you definitely want to avoid. Let's look at example 4. I'm going to write down our problem. We have x squared minus 12x plus 36 is equal to 16. Let's make a note that 36 is equal to 6 squared. So we can write this as x minus 6 quantity squared. Now, why did I use the minus? The reason that I put a minus here is that we have a minus in our original equation. And then on the right-hand side, we just write 16. Now we can go ahead and take the square root of both sides. On the left, we're going to get x minus 6, and then on the right, we're going to get plus or minus 4. Again, we have two problems. We have x minus 6 is equal to 4, or we have x minus 6 is equal to minus 4. Let's look at the one on the left. We'll add 6 to both sides, and we end up with x is equal to 10. And then for our equation on the right, we'll again add 6 to both sides, and we get that x is equal to 2. Let's go ahead and let's highlight these. Oh, and I forgot our or. We'll put that in. Our solutions are x is equal to 10 or x is equal to 2. Before we end the video, I want to show you a common mistake that I see students make all the time. So let's just label this common mistake. I even see students make this mistake when I teach calculus. Let me go ahead and let's write down our problem. We have x squared minus 12x plus 36 is equal to 16. Here's the mistake that I see students make. They'll subtract 36 from both sides and get x squared minus 12x is equal to minus 20. And then they'll do exactly what we would do if we had a 0 on the right-hand side. And they'll factor out an x like this. And then they will mistakenly say that x is equal to minus 20 or x minus 12 is equal to minus 20. And then on the right, they'll add 12 to both sides and they'll get a solution x is equal to minus 8. So the solutions look like x is minus 20 or x is equal to minus 8. And you can see that these are not the correct solutions. So we're going to put a big X there. They do not agree with what we got. Here's where the mistake is made. On our right-hand side, we had a minus 20. You can only factor on the left like this if you have a 0 on the right-hand side. So whenever you have a number that's not 0 on the right-hand side, you can't factor it this way. Instead, you have to factor it just like we did on the left-hand side. And that's it. I hope that you now feel more comfortable using the square root property. I think you're going to be surprised how much you'll use this property in further math courses.
If this video has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Keep believing in yourself and have a great rest of your day.